Hey guys, so today we're going to look at a slightly different application of multiplying and dividing rational numbers. And it's probably one you've heard before. It's called finding the average of something. You'll see a lot of these in sports. The one that comes to mind right away is batting average. But really I can find the average. That's a statistic used in a lot of different sports, like the average number of baskets in a basketball game, or the average number of penalties that a team has for a certain season per game, right? I could come up with all sorts of different stats. I know I'm talking about sports, but even in business, you want to find like average sales. As a teacher, I'd like to find my average test score for my students to evaluate understanding. Really is something that's used a lot. So instead of just telling you how to find the average of something, I created what I call the average grade level progression. So what I mean by that is you have been finding the average of items since you were younger, and it may not be like oh, we did a whole section, we worked on it for a week. I don't really know, but I do know that finding the average of a set of values is a 5th grade level skill. As you get older, though, the numbers kind of get harder and they're not all whole numbers and things don't divide evenly. And so what I've done is I've created a 3-level progression. So we have the 5th grade level, 6th grade level, and then 7th grade level. When we meet together, we'll do another one that I would also consider an advanced 7th grade level problem. So just to kind of get you comfortable, this is what my goal is anyway. Let's start with what I would say is the 5th grade level problem. So refresher, remember, to find the average of something, you're going to add them all up, divide by how many values there are, and then you'll have the average. So for 5th grade, it says the goals scored by a team is in 6 matches, darn typo, in 6 matches are 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, and 3. Find the average score of the team. So again, if I were to find the average of this set of data, situated here. Cool. I'm going to add all of those values together. And after I add them together, I'm going to divide by how many there are. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different numbers. Okay. So I'm going to simplify that expression. Okay. So 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 5 is 8, plus 3 is 11, plus 7 is 18, which I would then divide by 6 to get 3. Average goal. Okay. So again, the numbers were all whole numbers. They were divided evenly by the number of values to get a whole number of 3. That's why this is a 5th grade level problem. So to kick it up a little bit, we've got our 6th grade level problem, which includes some decimals, right? Maybe won't have a whole number answer. We'll see. So here we look at the weights of 4 children from a medical text. We're going to find the average of those weights. So first thing to realize is the names are irrelevant. That makes no difference to me. That's kind of something common. I feel like as you get older too, there's more of a background story. There's more information that might not be necessary. And that's kind of like real life. You got to find what's important to the problem to solve. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add their values together and divide by how many there are. I'm definitely going to use my calculator as a resource here. Divide by the 1, 2, 3, 4 kids that are there. Okay. 34.2, 36.8, 41.3, and 40.5. So I have 152.8 divided by 4, 38.2. So the average weight is 38.2 pounds. These are obviously very small children, very young. But again, not a whole number answer and not a problem for 6th grade level. All right, so 7th grade level, here's where if we were doing notes in person, I would ask you what's different, what are some things 7th grade has that 6th grade doesn't, or maybe even ask you, how could I make this even more challenging? What else could I put in there? So hopefully you see, in order to, we're gonna find the average monthly growth of a group of houseplants recorded in this table. These are real plants. I looked them up and found like a range of values. So I have no idea what this flower looks like. That might be fun to Google. I don't know if you're unblocked or not, but that might be really cool. The peace lily is really pretty. I do know that one. So immediately I noticed there are some fractions and there are some decimals. So in order to add these numbers together, I kind of need them to be one form or the other. Adding decimals together, in my opinion, is way easier than adding fractions together. So I don't need to worry about common denominators. So I'm going to adjust both of these to decimals also. 3 divided by 4. A lot of you know these off the top of your head by now, but so for 1 1/4, I'm just going to divide 1/4 to get 0.25. And if it's 1 with the fraction, it's also 1 in the decimal. So we'll put the 25 behind it. Your other option is to change that to 5/4 and divide 5 by 4 and get straight to the 1.25. Okay. So now I've got all the fractions turned to decimals, and now I can put those together. So I'm going to put the two decimals together that I just converted because I noticed they turn into a really lovely answer. Remember, the commutative property says I can change the order and it doesn't change my answer, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm going to divide them all by 4 once I combine them. So here we go. So I have 16 and 5/100. Something went wrong. Oh, I see my 1.25 became a 12.5. Now I knew something kind of in my gut was wrong because, well, first of all, I've done this problem before, but all of these values are less than 2, right? And if there are 4 of them, absolute highest thing I could ever see is an 8, right? 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So I knew something went down. Good estimation can save you. Much better, 4.8. Now I'm going to divide that by 4. There we go, 1.2. So the average growth is 1.2 inches. Okay, now I thought for a while, like, how do I want to show them the next problem? Like, I don't just want to give you a problem. Let's see, where did it go? There we go. I don't just want to give you a problem on the spot and have you need to work on it. So I'm going to show you the example that we will do when we meet together. And here we go. Now for this one, I purposely chose a problem where we have some repeating decimals. Both 2/3 and 1/6 are repeating decimals. Therefore, we cannot add them together as easily as before. So I'm going to encourage you, when you're working this out, try and turn that half to a fraction and keep them as fractions. I will show you what you need to do to turn it into decimals that you can work with, but it is a kind of a certain series of steps you cannot do in any other order. So again, I would try as best you can to turn all of these into fractions with common denominators. And if that's as far as you get, then you stop. That's fine. At least you'll be able to help me convert those to a common denominator. I'll tell you right now, I even want our common denominator to be 30, okay? 3 can be turned into 30, 6 can be turned into 30, 5 can be turned into 30. And then when you change this one to a fraction, it's very easily changed to a denominator of 30, okay? So we will talk, I don't know how long you guys have until our meeting, but I will see you shortly, okay? Try that problem. You can do it. If you need to rewind the video to write it down, go ahead. Talk to you soon.